Hey friends! Alright, so we have this hurricane out in the ocean. Not to make light of it at all, it is definitely devastating for the Bahamas. However, we have been put on this little waiting game because Dorian is doing what it wants, and in between being captivated by all of the updates, I have been dreaming about recipes and baking, which is what I normally do. So I've been baking for my whole entire life. I had a grandmother who was a cake decorator, a baker. When we walked into her house, it was the smell of amazing, delicious, yummy wedding cake. And she just loved to bake, cook, whatever it took. She was my hero. I had another grandmother who also loved to entertain. She catered. She did the most amazing displays and jellos, salads, appetizers. She was the inventor of the Grammy Sammy, as we all come to believe. So I had a lot of influence in my life from bakers. My mother also would put on a spread like you wouldn't believe on Christmas morning, and the smells, the flavors, the tastes, the memories, the family, it's just something that has been ingrained in me, and I just love the kitchen, love to bake. So I'm trying something new today, and I thought I would just share because it kind of turned out cool. And I guess first of all, last night was when I made some chocolate chip cookie dough, and I altered it a little bit so it's sort of like graham cracker cookies with chocolate chips. And I scooped all of the cookie dough out last night, put it onto this pan, and let them get really cold overnight so that they would stay firm when they baked and they wouldn't melt all over. So the cold, chilled dough is really important. It's easier to scoop it out and have it like this while the dough is soft and freshly made than to go in, put your whole bowl in the fridge, let it get hard. It's really hard to scoop then. So I scoop it ahead of time and let it chill in the scoop form in the refrigerator. So I got up and I made cookies this morning. Here is my pan of cookies. And you're looking at them going, what's up with those? So after I baked my chocolate chip cookies, I put several marshmallows on the top of them, and then I stuck the whole pan into the oven on broil. So the marshmallows got nice and golden toasty on the outside, which is what you like for making s'mores. And then, when those were cooled, I melted my chocolate. I dipped half the cookie in the melted chocolate, and then I dipped another portion of the melted chocolate cookie into crushed up graham crackers. So you are looking at a s'mores chocolate chip cookie that can be frozen, saved for later, or can be stacked, brought to an event, shared with friends without having the s'mores sticks, the fire, the messiness. And so I'm just going to show you how I did it. Here's my cookie. Here's my melted chocolate. All I do is dip it halfway in and then give it a shake till all of the drips stop coming off of it. And then I pick up my bowl of graham crackers and give it a roll in there. Ta-da! And now I put it back on my tray with the rest of my cookies to set and to share with friends later. So this is what I do in between the weather reports. I come up with ideas and then I test them out. So just so you know, I did give the cookie a test before I started dipping them in chocolate, and they were really, really delicious all by themselves before dipping them in chocolate. I can't imagine how dipping a cookie halfway in chocolate can't make it better. Of course, hey Rebecca. I know, right? Nikki Crocker child strikes again. I can't help it. It's like in my genes. I shared a little bit ago about my grandmas and their influence and what food has done in the life of probably every one of us. The memories, the traditions. I love traditions very, very much. But I also really get bored with the same old, same old. So I really like to try new things, especially recipes. I don't know, I've never made too many things more than once. So I have quite the repertoire of recipes. Speaking of recipes, I have found this app that is amazing that I have on my phone as well as on my computer, and it is called Paprika. So all of my recipes are stored digitally on both devices. And when I need to put a recipe into it, it does all the work for me. I go find the recipe on the internet and I say, upload, and Paprika puts all the information in, including a photograph, instructions, nutritional content if it's available. And then when I'm out and I've brought recipes to somebody's house or they've tasted something of mine and they say, hey, will you share that recipe? I can do it in a minute flat. All I need is their email address and I can go in and bam, it's in their inbox. So Paprika is the name of that app, and it is one of my favorite things to do. So guys, while I've been sitting here chit-chatting, I'm almost done with my whole pan of cookies. Now this is the issue though, I love to bake, almost as much as I love to eat it. So what's a girl to do but share? So when I was growing up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we had this open door policy and people lived by it. This was before cell phones, and people would just show up at the front door and my mom would put on a pot of coffee and they would visit. Auntie Marcy and Uncle Royal would show up and they always brought treats. They had a cooler in their trunk because they were all about visiting people, and they would bring in some kind of treat to share with the coffee. And that is such a lost activity. It doesn't happen very often. People just show up at your door, ring your doorbell and say, hey, how about some coffee? So I would like to just let everybody know we love it when people show up at our door, and I usually have treats here. So if you're ever in Naples and you want to come and try out some of my treats, I would love to share. Our door's always open. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm just going to give you another little peek at my tray of cookies, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of the cookie dough, and I will report back later. Who knows what I'll be making next, but stay tuned.